Bear with me. Okay, we are we opened?
Yes.
Okay. So just for the public's consumption, the city clerk and the deputy city clerk are unable to attend tonight's meeting. So I am going to be the hopefully fairly competent stand-in for them. But please have patience with me as they've been doing that for a long time and I've never done this before. So I will do my best. So we will open with a roll call. Council Member Von Rudenberg.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino.
Here.
Councilman Battaglia.
Here.
Councilman Carroll.
Here.
Mayor LaBrosse.
Here.
Okay. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Publics Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-6 et sec, notice having been published according to law with a copy on file in the city clerk's office and a copy posted on the bulletin board in City Hall. I will now read a statement on public comment during a remote meeting. Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act and recent regulations issued by the state of New Jersey, the following procedures will be in effect for public comment during this remote public meeting of the City Council. The public shall have an opportunity for comment during the designated public portion of this meeting. The time period for public comment is limited to 3 minutes for each speaker, and no person may address the council more than once, except for speaking during an advertised public hearing for an ordinance. At the time designated for public comment, the mayor or other presiding officer of the council will recognize one speaker at a time. That speaker must identify himself or herself by full name and whether or not he or she resides in Hackensack. No other member of the public is permitted to speak unless recognized by the presiding officer, and other remote attendees may be muted during that time if necessary to eliminate background noise. Meeting attendees shall exhibit appropriate demeanor during this meeting as required by Section 3715 of the City Code. In the event any member of the public becomes disruptive at any time, that individual may be muted by the presiding officer and will receive a warning that continued disruption may result in being prevented from speaking or removed from the meeting entirely. The Zoom meeting platform has a texting function. However, this is to be used only for the purpose of advising the city's IT staff of any technical concerns or issues. The public may also submit written public comments to be audibly read into the record by the city clerk during the public portion of any remote public meeting of the City Council. Comments can be submitted by regular mail or by email to asabi@hackensack.org. That's ASAABYE@hackensack.org. Comments received less than 5 hours before the start of a meeting may be carried to the next meeting. Any person who actually speaks during the public comment portion of a remote public meeting may not also have a comment read into the record. The city clerk will stop reading a written comment into the public record once it reaches the 3-minute limit. Duplicate written comments may be summarized and noted for the record in a consistent manner.
Okay, thank you. Frank, please bring up the flag. Would everybody please rise for the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
For which is
one nation under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And with that, we turn right over to the city manager, Vince.
Thank you, Mayor. First item for discussion is an ordinance involving special law enforcement officers full-time. This is under statute, we're allowed to have one full-time class 2 officer whose limitations are set forth in 4814-146A and 146C. And this is addressing the COLA increases and granted by the city to its employees who are not represented for the purpose of a collective bargaining agreement. And such increases will not be in excess of an hourly rate of $30 an hour. Questions on that particular ordinance?
I have none. Anybody from the council?
No.
Next one is the ordinance designating the left turn lane on Passaic Street and Prospect Avenue. As you know, we've been going through this for quite a while now. We finally got the engineer's report, and we were able to, this is the change to the ordinance to accommodate a left turn only at Passaic and Prospect. We're also looking into doing it at a couple other intersections as well that are in that area, but this one, as you know, there was some issues at that intersection. I think this is going to help the flow of traffic and be a little more safer.
Thank you for that.
I have a couple questions on this though.
Sure.
Because are we going left-hand turn going north and south?
No,
That's what it looked like on the
just
pictures.
north.
Just north.
Left-hand turn north.
That said, if we're going to do that, I hope everybody realizes we're going to have to move up or eliminate some of those parking spaces in front of that building, including some handicap spots. Which
Maybe
are,
one.
Which are an ADA issue because, you know, and I come home from work every day that way. And many times the left-hand lane, if you're in the left-hand lane now, you can't make a left because the traffic is backed up from Summit all the way down past Prospect, down going east. So those people are going to be locked in. I just hope this doesn't give them carte blanche once they get the arrow to pull out into the intersection. And then they, you know, if traffic doesn't move, if the light doesn't alleviate some of the situation. So is this going to have to be timed with the Summit Avenue light, Summit and Passaic Street?
I don't believe so, Mayor, and it's not going to be a arrow signal crossing. In other words,
So it's just left turn only?
It's just left turn only, right? It's just
Okay.
going to be marked as left turn only. There won't be an arrow. So what it's doing, what the whole purpose of it is to prevent both of those lanes, because it's not marked now, both of those lanes coming together into one lane. Because as you know, north of Passaic on Prospect goes from those two lanes there, crosses the street and goes into one lane. So the right lane will be straight and right turn, and the other lane will be left-hand turn only. But it will not be controlled by a traffic signal.
My only concern, and I'm sure we can figure it out, is that if there's enough left-hand turn cars queued up to make the left to go west onto Passaic,
Right.
the people who want to go straight or right might not be able to access the lane.
Yeah, John, but what happened right now in this moment? How that work? The two cars, they go in the same time. Some people make a left and sometimes they decide straight. And that's the problem when you got another car that decide to go straight too. Now you got two cars going. So right now, how the traffic being handled? You go to that corner, right? And you decide to make a left or go straight. It's up to you, right? So what is going to change?
Well, the only way it
going
will
to go
change is now people know they have to get to the right if they want to go straight or make a right. And if if there's enough left-hand turn cars in the way, they're not going to be able to go. That's all I'm saying.
well, let's go and
Frank,
go for a
can
trial
you,
period.
All right, Frank,
And let's see what happens.
Can you let Susan present? She's going to pull up the plan for me.
Sure.
Just text her so you can see it on paper.
I go there every day, day and night, and the only problem that I see in that corner is when the two cars, they start in the same time, and then the car on the right has to put the brake because the guy on the left is going to go straight and the other guy's got the cars in front of him. But by doing what we are doing, I will say that the guy that's going to be in the left, I know if I am on the right hand side that car is going to make a left, and I'm going to go straight, no matter how many cars.
I agree. I come home that way every single day, and I see it all the time. I'm involved in it.
It's not going to help the left turn lane, the people making the left. It's going to help the people going straight. I think
Exactly.
that's
That way they're going to be.
left, or it's not going to get any different for them.
Exactly.
People going straight, that this will simplify.
Yeah, that's it.
So just to give a visual, everyone, what they stated is correct. This is the northbound road, and presently there are two lanes, as Vinny had mentioned. Right now, we're proposing to put the left turn only here, and as the mayor had noted, these two handicap spots right here might be impacted once this starts to queue. So
If
yeah,
we remove one.
Yeah, potentially. So if this remains left turn only and there's not enough or there's not too many cars here, then vehicles can proceed into this right lane to go straight or turn right.
So, and the drawing, we don't have in the drawing, the signal should be say straight or make a right.
Yeah, it's going to remain as is. The signals are.
Remain as it. They're not going to put the arrow to make a right or go straight.
They won't, no.
Why not?
That's a county signal. It's not going to change. It'll remain as is.
But you could paint the lines on the street, correct, Susan?
Correct, yes. Yeah, the
So
county.
you could put an arrow straight and an arrow right.
As well as signs that would advise the vehicles that that's what the turning and or what the lanes are designated for. The county has reviewed this and approved this striping. I don't know if there's any other questions, but
Susan, you have a picture that's further south on Prospect, like to address the mayor's issue. Like, is there always 2 lanes on Prospect, or do they just become 2 lanes at some point?
No.
No, one lane.
One lane.
But
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'd like to see where that happens. What point on your picture, or we don't have that?
Just here, like underneath this black line, do you see this white line? That's the existing. I'm not sure if you see it. I could put it up on Google Maps, but right here.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I see it.
So that's where it turns into 2.
Kathy, when you come like right in front of care where Emil used to be, right? You got the yellow line. Nobody's allowed to park there, so you got some room there. But sometimes when you approach the corner, you got these 2 handicap spots in the right-hand side.
So
then you got to go around then, and if you're going to go straight or make a right, you got to go around and then you are on the right-hand side. And then, and the way it's going to be now, you make a right, you go straight. And the people on the left side, the problem was before, now with the change, the people they're going to be on the left side, they only make left, they're not going to go straight.
Right, but to the mayor's point, there still could be a bottleneck point there, where the 1 lane becomes 2.
But it's going to be a bottleneck when you got a lot of traffic.
I understand. But
even with the change or without the change, it's still going to be the same because the car's on the right-hand side.
I think this is going to alleviate a lot of times where people are going around the left hand and then they start to get to north and they start to hit and merge.
Absolutely, that's the purpose. But to the mayor's point, it's not like there's 2 lanes going back pretty far. It's really not that. It's not all that long where there's 2 lanes.
It's only the last 75 feet before the intersection that now you got.
Which isn't very much. Right.
Okay.
Susan, is that car in the picture the last spot on Prospect before Passaic?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And Susan, I was just going to mention the car to the right, the white car. Is that the first spot allowed? Because a lot of times there's cars parked pretty close to the corner there.
That's
which
what we
one?
have to enforce.
This one right here? Or
no,
the other side, the
right,
right-hand
bottom
side.
right. Yes.
That's
yeah, it appears as if yes.
Okay.
Supposed to be the last car.
Yeah, sometimes they're closer to the corner there.
Exactly. That we have to enforce them. We'll put a sign that say no park left to the corner, or we can put the yellow line, and that will prevent to anybody to park in that area. We better put a yellow strip there.
Yeah.
You mark the sidewalk. You mark the sidewalk and the curve, and then with the yellow line, like we should be doing in other parts of the city, and you paint the curve yellow, nobody should be parked there, period.
Okay.
Okay, everybody's good?
Yep.
Yes, yes.
All right, next.
Thank you, Mr. Mane.
Thank you, Susan, too. Thank you. Third is resolution concerning Senate Bill A1571, which is a resolution urging the New Jersey legislature to oppose Assembly Bill A1571, which is the payment in lieu of taxes and the potential for prevailing wage cost on any tax abated property or pilot. This is just a resolution in support of that that we're sending to the New Jersey legislature.
Yeah, I mean, and if I might just to comment on that, this involves, essentially requiring, mandating certain types of labor be used on these projects. And while, in a vacuum that may make some sense, given the limited margins that we operate on when trying to develop affordable housing and to build projects that are economically viable and get this redevelopment ongoing, this would add considerable costs to the ability of developers to be able to make these projects financially work. So if this bill passed, in order for these projects to continue in the city, we would either have to make them larger than we want or provide greater tax incentives than we think are reasonable. So, no disrespect to the intentions here, but the concern is that, this really is a poison pill for many forms of development. And I will add that dozens, if not hundreds, of local governments and mayors are signing on to make the legislature aware of these concerns and hope that they can address them and make this a more reasonable piece of legislation. So that's where we're coming from on this.
Okay.
Thank you, Steve. Last thing on the agenda is the combined sewer and stormwater update. Susan, if you could present that.
Okay, good evening again, Mayor, Council, City Manager, and the public. Ryan and I are both here to present this meeting's update to the sewer improvements. So this meeting, we're including not only the combined sewer separation, but drainage improvements as well as sanitary sewer improvements. First, I'll share my screen. Hold on one second. Okay. And the first slide will speak about the current construction activities, and that will be presented by Ryan.
Good evening, everyone. Just want to bring up the Clay Street Sewer Separation Project, the progress update from November 3rd through November 30th. 713 lineal feet of sanitary sewer infrastructure has been installed. 1,813 lineal feet of heavy cleaning and inspection of the existing combined sewer has occurred. And a portion of the gas main was relocated to accommodate the box culvert on Union Street. Currently, the active construction is contractor installing sanitary sewer improvements within Lot U and on Union Street, along with some environmental sampling of the existing dirt that was coming out of the trench to potentially use that in other areas of the city. Heavy cleaning and inspection needed to be completed before the structural lining can be installed. At this time, Union Ave, Railroad Ave, and Park Street have been lined, or they should be almost done at this point. What was installed was it's called cast in place lining of the existing combined sewer, which will, once it's separated, is going to remain as a sanitary only. So on Railroad, Union, and Park, from Central to Berry has all been relined. So essentially, it's a brand new, PVC pipe, which is good, and that completes the ongoing work.
Thank you, Ryan. So I'll be presenting on the projects that are currently in design phase, agency review, as well as bidding phase or about to be awarded. So as you are aware, or may not be, we're continuing the Clay Street contracts 2, 3, and 4 sewer separation. They're currently in design phase or agency review, whether it's DEP or New Jersey Transit or easement negotiations. Within that same vicinity, we have the Anderson Street sewer separation, which targets Stanley, James, and Berry area. Additionally, we have the various sewer heavy cleaning and CCTV at Lodi Street, Green Street, Liberty Street, McKinley Street, and Hudson Street. And finally, Polyfly Park, where there is some minor drainage improvements to alleviate the issue there. Within the bid and RFQ phase are Hudson Street, at Water and Kennedy Streets. Again, we're doing heavy cleaning and CCTVing in preparation of stormwater improvements. Additionally, we have East Kennedy Emergency Generator, Voorhees Lane Phase 2 Pump Station Replacement, the various sewer improvements at Liberty, Clinton Place, Union Street, Hudson Street, and Moore Street. What we had gone out to bid but hasn't been awarded yet is Columbus Park, where there is minor drainage improvement at the southwest portion of the park at the border of South Hackensack. What's not listed here is Pine Street, which is going out to rebid, and the bid opening is January 5th of next year. Ryan spoke about the active construction projects, Clay Street Contract 1. I don't know if you had the slide on Main Street. Did you do that, Ryan? Main Street, we have lining underneath the rail that still needs to be completed. And Voorhees Lane Interceptor, which is linear work east of the Voorhees Lane pump station replacement. That concludes our presentation. Ryan and I are here for any questions that anyone may have. I suppose Mayor and Council, any questions now? And when we open up to public, we can stay on.
Thank you, Susan and Ryan.
Thank you, Susan, Ryan.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay,
You're welcome. Thanks.
Vince.
That's all I have.
Okay, need a motion to open to the public, please.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call.
Okay. Council, so wait, who offered and who seconded?
Kathy offered and Leo seconded.
Okay. And Councilwoman Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilman Battaglia,
Aye.
Councilman Carroll,
Aye.
Mayor LaBrosse.
Aye.
Okay.
At this time, anybody from the public who would like to speak, please come forward, give your name to the city attorney, and you will have 3 minutes. Thank you. Frank, you have the clock ready?
I do. There is one hand raised.
Okay, if you have your hand raised, please give your name. Take yourself off mute.
Kathleen Smith.
Martin Smith, Prospect
Hello,
Ave.
Mr. S-
Can you
Go
hear
ahead,
me?
Mr. Smith.
Aye,
Yes, we can hear you.
thank you. I'd like to start.
Mr. Smith, Prospect Avenue in Hackensack, you said?
Yes, right, Prospect Avenue, member of the
Yes, sir.
Condo Co-op Advisory Board. I'd like to start my comments this evening by thanking the mayor and council members for the very nice Veterans Day service on the courthouse green. I know that the Hackensack veterans community appreciates your efforts, so thank you very much for that. I have a lot to say tonight, but I'm going to stick to this topic that was just covered, and that's the intersection of Prospect and Passaic Street. As we all know, the purpose of doing this project is to eliminate the merge point on the north side of Passaic Street, which is a danger area. I was very happy to hear that we're moving forward with this project. Mr. Battaglia asked the question earlier concerning whether or not arrows were going to be placed on the right-hand lane or the curbside lane as it is for straight through and right turn traffic. And Susan mentioned in reply that the county would not approve that. So my question to the council is, why would the county have anything to say about the improvement that we are doing on Prospect Avenue, which is a city street and is under our jurisdiction? If we're going to put a left turn arrow in there, what is the difference if we add the other arrows in the right-hand lane to make it more visible to approaching traffic?
I could respond to that. I don't know whether you didn't hear the rest of it because I questioned the same thing. And I believe the straight arrow and the right-hand turn arrow will be painted on the street, Mr. Smith.
It will be, okay.
I think she was referring to the light, having an arrow.
I'm sorry, sir?
I think she might have been referring to the light, which is a county light turning.
Oh. Well, I think no other light is going to be added. I don't think any arrow is. But I have to say, I agree with you, Mayor, concerning left turn lanes at certain times of the day when traffic is very heavy on Passaic Street. But basically what we are doing is simply moving traffic that would have been going straight through in that left lane out of it. And the left turn traffic that we will have when there is a dedicated lane will be the same left turn vehicles that have always been turning from that lane. So there should be no impact on traffic. And it might be a wise idea for there to be some adjustment made in the traffic light changing pattern in relationship to Summit Avenue so that traffic could be moved out of the way so that left turning traffic from Prospect could take place.
We will look into that, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank, next hand up, please.
Okay. The next one up would be Carolyn Davis.
Okay. Ms. Davis, can you hear me?
I'm trying to unmute myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good evening. Sorry, a little late coming on. I just want to say that was in a meeting this week with Susan and our city manager and deputy chief, the fire department, and someone else. But I just want to say that with all the work that's being done, I know many times you think we're complaining, but with all the work that's being done, I can feel I can take half a breath. It made me feel very confident that work is really being done, and prayerfully, we may still have some water, but not what we had been expecting, what we had been getting, I should say that. It's a relief to myself, to people in the neighborhood, to know that this work has been taken seriously and as is being done. So I can say I appreciate the efforts that are going on, and I can visually see what's happening. So thank you. We hope that we will get to a point where we don't have to worry about it at all anymore. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments, Reverend Davis. Next person, please, with their hand raised.
There are no more hands raised.
Okay, going once, going twice. Motion to close to the public.
Offer.
Second.
Roll call?
So again, offer was,
Kathy.
Kathy and Leo.
and Leo, okay. Councilwoman Von Rudenberg,
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Canestrino,
Aye.
Councilman Battaglia,
Aye.
Councilman Carroll,
Aye.
and Mayor LaBrosse.
Aye. Okay, we're going to be going back into a closed session. So, Steve, is there anything we need to do for that?
Yeah, I would just make a motion to go back into closed session, and then we'll come back at 8 o'clock and we'll close the cow as per our usual practice. And then, of course, I'll make the announcement of the cases we discussed at that time.
Okay.
So I'll call for a motion to go into close.
So due to the fact that we weren't able to complete all our business in executive session, I need a motion to go back into executive session, closed session.
Offer.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Okay. Everybody go back to the original link. We'll see everybody back in public at 8 o'clock. Thank you.